How's it going, everyone? It is time for the main event. We are breaking down the Resident Evil 4 Remake Separate Ways DLC slated to release September 21st, 2023. I am very excited for this. It's coming sooner than expected this month. I honestly thought it was not even coming out this year. We're getting our hands on it. We're going to be playing it. We're going to be dissecting. We're going to be analyzing. First and foremost, though, we have to break down this marvelous trailer released at State of Play, announcing the game and trying to interweave all the details and fascinations that we see in this trailer for the masses, and I cannot wait to break it down. Let's do this. Let's get our cokes out, let's get our cocks out, and let's fucking have a good time. Elsewhere, another mission is underway. Another order, so to speak.
This is Gondor 1. President's daughter, Baby Eagle. It's likely she's in this village.
I'm seeing increased movement from Los Eliminados. Don't get careless.
Alrighty, we are surveying the first scene. One thing I will say is that you will see familiar areas, like you will see the village, and you will also see the castle. You will see familiar territory and terrain just from another perspective. Our main protagonist is Ada Wong, who is intrinsically linked to Leon with her past, and we're going to see more of that as the game progresses. We're going to see more of how she thinks, how she feels, her interactions with Albert Wesker, defying some of his orders because she doesn't really listen to everything he has to say in the original Separate Ways. She starts to question him, obviously, because he goes out of his way to say, I gotta kill Leon, I gotta get this guy eliminated, and Ada Wong doesn't like that, as well as in this timeline, she seems to be, well, obviously it's within reason, thoroughly against the idea of Wesker's beginning genocidal ideals, and that sort of creeps into dialogue later in this trailer. One thing to note is that she is standing on the bell tower, which is what she rings to quell the Ganado threat that Leon is fighting in the village. She can go down there as well and fight the enemy Ganados in her segment, but she has to ring the bell to end the threats. I'm not sure if they're going to have some sort of fail state if she runs into Leon, because Leon is running around that segment where Ada is fighting all the Ganados as well. It's going to be interesting how they coordinate it this time around. Let's continue further.
Copy. Ada out.
What terrible actions will be done in its name? And who will pay its dark cost?
Okay, let's go back and listen to that. This is where I said earlier, she is very adamant as to what's going on with Wesker, leading to that conflict, which they did have somewhat in the original as well. Because Krauser is different, and Wesker obviously did not employ Krauser in the reimagined timeline, I'm wondering how that dynamic will go. I think it's probably going to be eliminated, or if she fights Krauser again, because Krauser is a boss fight in the original, and he's kind of like, you know, I work for Wesker, but if you make a move, I don't like you. If you make a move at all, I will fucking kill you. And that whole dynamic probably will not exist, sadly, in this DLC due to the changes involved. But it makes me wonder, will Krauser still be a boss or attack her? We have no idea.
Terrible actions will be done in its name, and who will pay its dark cost?
Oh, we have Ada Wick in the building, and I pretty much enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty incredible, with her doing her fast and lightning quick moves, showing her agility.
Find Lewis. Fetch me the amber.
Wesker knows of Lewis. Obviously, go get the amber. No bullshit around. I pay you to not ask questions. This spiral staircase, I don't know if I'm able to find it. Let me see if I can pause the video and come back, and I'll show you guys something of particular note here. I found it. Take particular note of this original concept of the beta for RE4 OG. This was the Tokyo Game Show 2002 trailer. See the stairway? Go back to the separate ways. It looks similar, doesn't it? That's cool that they're kind of not only bringing back beta concepts in a small degree, but they are bringing back levels and stages that were reminiscent to the betas of RE4. There's a full chest shot of Wesker, which I'm sure the fangirls will come all over. Jesus Christ. Ada on a jet ski is new. We never had that in the original. She only handed over the jet ski keys to Leon. It's only a cutscene though, so I'm not sure how far it's gonna extend.
Have you changed, Ada? Or are you just trying to use me again?
More spying on, obviously, Ashley and Leon. I think this is when she's on the bed and they wake up.
Use me again.
Because in this world,
This is kind of cool. I'm gonna interject this with one of my notes. It seems she is attacking one of the El Gigantes using her grapple gun. And they said that's gonna function as a weapon for her. Ada's gonna be fucking broken, man. I would assume, again, independent of not only using firearms and guns, she could also parry with the knife and use the grapple gun as an attack in certain instances. I want to see how independent it is. In the original, the grapple gun was used to get up to certain ledges that you couldn't get up to before. In this one, it's a complete attack move. So I like that, and obviously it's going to be used for getting up ledges and things like that.
because in this world, someone always pays.
Oh, this is the construction site. Oh, that's cool. She puts a gun to Louise. Fuck you, Louise. She says, fuck you.
Someone who needs my help.
Oh, she's in the labs? That's cool. Because that is an Iron Maiden headed right her direction. She has a product of the sample and the shot.
Best not to ask who or why.
And this is more of the castle, and she zips off. Resident Evil 4. Separate ways.
It's what I researched for all these years, Ada. And I see the symptoms already showing in your eyes.
This is probably the most critical and crucial part to signify that things are changing. Number one, first and foremost, remember this. The ones that were infected with the plagas were the Ganado, obviously Sadler and his crones, Salazar, all those people, Krauser, and then, you know, Leon and Ashley, but never Ada in the original. Ada was never infected with Los Plagas, nor did she ever have it whatsoever. In this game, she does. It seems like there is an infection occurring, and I can only assume is that one. There could be a bullshot in this trailer. It could be leading us astray in the final game for Separate Ways with the DLC. They could simply be saying, hey, this might be a nightmare sequence. We've seen this before with Resident Evil 3 Remake with Carlos being a zombie. Could it be that? Could it be possible? Maybe, but let's entertain the idea that it's not. This is a totally new and desperate premise of Ada Wong being infected and therefore needing Luis even deeper, which is why she's probably desperate for him to discover the revelation of what is this amber, what does it do, and can you extract this goddamn parasite out of my body? And I think that's going to be played up for dramatic effect, showing she's not only just as desperate as Leon, but she's trying to cure herself, and maybe that's why she uses that giant machine down in the basement of the laboratory, since we saw Ada in the labs to begin with, and that's where she gets rid of the parasite. Not only that, she fights Sadler somewhere down there, because she does fight Sattler in a lab in the original, and he's more like his human boss form. He's like a human. He's not a giant mutated smoldering amount of tentacles. He's actually super strong, super fast, and that fight still should remain, in my opinion. And there's obviously some questions about Krauser, because he's not affiliated with Wesker. Does he still hate Ada, or doesn't care for her? Will there be that dynamic? We still have no idea. And basically the trailer carries on to the release date. And then we see that Mercenaries will have a free update for Ada Wong as a character, and you see the stage in the background, the new stage, and then you see Albert Wesker on the right, and you'll be able to play as them, no problem, in Mercenaries. We've been waiting for those two, because when you got Mercenaries as a free update, these characters were not in, and I'm like, they were in the original, what the fuck? So I knew what Capcom wanted to do is do something special and market these characters in, probably fix up Wesker a little bit, because he has superpowers, he's superhuman, that's a lot of animations and kicks and all that stuff, so they probably fix him up as well. But I mean, the modders also fixed them up because they were taking down the mods off of Nexus mods with Wesker, and they were saying, no, you're taking our shine a little bit too much. So now these characters are being introduced into the Mercenaries DLC, and I will be playing that as well, no problem, just being, brutally honest and testing how these characters work, what their loadouts are, and how they operate from there, and it should be a fun time. Overall, I'm going to switch over to my Be Right Back screen, and essentially we're going to talk about some after presentation thoughts, and then we'll wrap up the video from here. So let me see if I can actually find this. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit scatterbrained right now. Let's see, where's my banner? Be right back. Oh, I found it. There we go. That's it. All right. So I'm gonna switch over to text, because people see me read text out loud on screen. It's a little bit disorienting, but I'm gonna do this anyway. All right. What we have is one of the biggest complaints here that I saw on social media when they later announced the price point of this DLC. And I thought to myself, oh, it can't be that bad. $9.99, right? $9.99, which is $10 4 separate ways. Maybe a little tax depending on where you live, but not really that expensive. A DLC that is not $20 like Shadows of Rose. Arguably cheaper. Probably one of the cheapest Resident Evil packages I've seen Capcom do. Could you believe it that people on social media were whining and complaining and crying that this DLC was $10 fucking? Could you believe it? And I think this is a combination of two things. Number one, it's a combination of the fact that people are illiterate. They can't read. I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm going to give you my raw intention for the people complaining about this. Number one, they are illiterate. They cannot read. They do not pay attention. They have the attention span of a gopher. There were people that were misconcepting the idea that because the Mercenaries was basically interwoven into this with the free update for the characters, that the DLC was going to be free. It makes me at a loss for words. I don't understand. They updated it as clear as possible right after the trailer came out. $9.99 for Separate Ways as a campaign, and the DLC for the Mercs characters are essentially free. So I don't get the problem. I don't understand. The second thing is that I believe that there are people out there, not everyone, but when they see the word free, they believe everything is a charity case at that point. Like it's a fire sale. It's a charity case. We're gonna get all the free stuff, and no, we're getting the free Mercs characters, but not the free content. The quality of that content will not be revealed until we actually sit down and have the game release and start to play it, right? That being said, there's also the idea of people saying that this is way too expensive, which I don't understand. Like, I'm gonna tell you a story, a personal story. This price point is lunch. It's lunch to me. I remember going out and eating out at Panda Express as my phone goes off. Motherfucker, fuck you. I remember going to Panda Express and just getting like some noodles or whatever. Just noodles, meat, veggies, all that stuff. And that was like $11. This DLC is like free lunch. Well, not free lunch. I remember that word free is a charity case word. It's paid lunch. It's you go out and you would spend something on something so trivial versus just as DLC. So it's not the most expensive DLC in the world, is what I'm saying. And I don't get, people say games are too high now. Now games are way too low for additional content. I don't get it. Like, pick a lane and choose it. That's what I would say about the price point. This is fine. I have no problem with this. A full-fledged campaign that you'll probably get like an hour or two, maybe more out of it. I forget the entire length of the original Separate Ways. I think it clocked in for me at about maybe like 4-5 hours. I took my time with it. Obviously speedrunners are gonna break this game for sure, like they did last time. That being said, they will play the ever living fuck out of this if the replay value is high, seeing differing ways. If it's like RE4 but changed for Separate Ways, it's just wondering like what exactly is going to stay in the package with the original content, since the storyline is basically changing, and that's the only real thing I could think about now is how much is going to stick with the bosses. And the fact that U3 is going to be an Ada-centric boss, that's good though, because now it gives her a little bit more to do and it adds a little bit more time to her campaign, along with Salazar's left hand, right hand, I don't know who the fuck it was this time, but they're supposed to be hunting her down and chasing her, and it's gonna be something interesting. So if they manage to keep those bosses interesting and put in a lot of cool values behind how they function and operate, I think is going to be a swell experience. Assignment Ada. Somehow people really care for this version of events, and this is it's basically an overglorified minigame. With Assignment Ada. I don't think Assignment Ada is going to be in this package, otherwise they would have said so otherwise. For the people expecting Assignment Ada, I think you're going to be rudely disappointed. I think Assignment Ada is not coming back. If it does, I would be shocked. However, that being said, since there's no information, it's basically going around as Ada Wong and trying to get versions of the sample and a small contained map on the island. And that's it. There's no real story to Assignment Ada other than the fact that you get a cool looking like SWAT-esque outfit for Ada Wong, and you can use that in the mercenaries. Outside of that, that's it. You don't get anything else for your troubles with completing that mode from what I remember at all. It was just throw away, something you could play, that's it. Not as important as Separate Ways. And then there's wondering the guns and what's gonna stay. Like, will we get the crossbow, the little pump action shotgun that Ada had, all that cool stuff, which I imagine we will, no problem. So that's not really a big deal whatsoever. And that's about it. I just remember people were crying about the price and misconceiving the idea is gonna be free. It's just too much. And I just thought that was completely weird. And then you still have your other stuff. So if you're looking forward to VR mode for RE4, then that's coming out in the winter as well. Do I think this is the last content update for Resident Evil 4 Remake? Yes. I think at max they should have a balance update, because I hate the stun locking in RE4 Remake. And then they're going to move on probably to RE9. I don't expect them to be too hung up on this game for that long unless they re-release it. That's about it for this analysis breakdown and what I thought of everything that's going on with the sphere of this game, there's going to be another trailer on the 18th. Look forward to that. I will be covering that if it's interesting. And of course, Tokyo Game Show is also going to have more information on the VR mode as well as people playing RE4 separate ways. Enjoy yourself if you're playing this DLC. I'll see you guys next time. Find my social media in the description below, Discords and everything, and you can find me over there or on YouTube. Take care. I'll see you guys later, and peace out.